All right, we'll go ahead and get started. I call this meeting to order. First on the agenda, we are going to review the previous meeting notes. I will have Lyriel do that. Lyriel, I went ahead and pulled up the notes that you had sent over on stream. If you kind of want to run through them with whatever detail you find delightful.
I'm going to keep notes as I'm doing the meetings. That way I have to just transpose them later.
That's fair.
So the previous minutes from our meeting on August 15th, 2020 are as follows. The first thing we did was review the previous meeting's notes and minutes. The second thing was we discussed what happened in the unofficial brainstorming session we had with the board of directors, where to go with our technology, things like that. How dues are happening. It was just a good brainstorming session. Number 3 was the treasury report. That was done by Mike Green or Garrett Kershaw. Some highlights from that. We closed the Chase account. We're now only on the Pioneer account. We created a CK specific PayPal, and I believe that we ended with a ledger of $7,097.08. The next thing we went over was spring war bids. That was pushed back to the end of September as opposed to the August mid-range due to uncertainties with COVID-19. We also discussed Spirit Haven Ranch as a potential site for that. Cyril went really into depth in that. You can catch everything she said exactly on our YouTube channel now. Number 5, we talked about expanding our offerings for merchandise. So creating patches for classes, levels, awards, things of that nature, as well as the RFP process to start finding people to buy these said patches from. Next, we discussed insurance. That was led by Torque. As we all know, our insurance is not being renewed, so we discussed looking into other options. The next item we discussed was the COM $2,000 not licensing fee donation. And where it just, the discussion had kind of stagnated on that. I don't believe we've paid that at this point. Neither has really any other kingdoms. The next thing we discussed was the second issue of the Celestial Kingdom Stargazer. That was led by Midnight. We needed more entries for that. The next item, we approved the previous minutes from, I don't have the date, but the BOD meeting before. I dropped my phone, one moment, sorry about that. We moved, a few people moved around. The senator position went from Dahlin to Crix. The KPM position went from Dahlin to Cy. The Dahlin was moved to Prime Minister alternate. We discussed putting senator as a no voting position on the BOD and our non-voting member of the board of directors. And then Dahlin motioned to close, Midnight seconded it, and it passed unanimously.
Any comments on the BOD meetings from last time?
I have one.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
We really should, on our minutes, like we don't need to go back and fix all the old minutes, but minutes are there so that in the future we can go back and look at the minutes to see what happened in that meeting. And it's kind of a semi-formal, almost legal document. So we really should, when we're listing attendance, be using real names and full names.
Yeah, that's been brought up before, and I keep forgetting as well. So I'll go back and change at least this one and the last one.
I'm sorry, this is my first rodeo, guys.
I totally forget that. It's not your fault. With the exception of changing to real names instead of any kind of Amtgard persona names, if all current members of the BOD can indicate their approval, yay or nay, for accepting of the minutes as written with changes incoming on names.
Yay.
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 Any opposed? I'm a yay as well, so we can go ahead and mark that as approved. On to the next topic. I want to do a quick rein-in review, some of the things that the BOD has worked with the Monarchy team to accomplish this last 6 months. We officially took ownership of the G Suite, the Amtgard CK domain, brought that under the BOD. Previously, this was owned by James Taylor Frog. We now own that as the Celestial Kingdom. We own the domain name, the Amtgard G Suite, and all rights to it. As Lyriel mentioned, we have transitioned to a single bank account, so we no longer have 2 bank accounts, and it's going to be a lot of reduced complexity for the treasurer. We now have a CK-owned PayPal as well. A lot of folks don't know this. Previously, our old PayPal was actually owned by Wilhelm, and we had just transitioned that to a business account. So to get off of his personal PayPal, we spun up our own. We've also got bill payments for anything technology related, such as the G Suite, the domain hosting, anything like that, being pulled directly out of the bank account. So that's you should see that in the Treasury quarterly report that Garrett gives. We deployed a new web backend, so we transitioned our web page from that static kind of generic page that we had over to a full enterprise resource system, so we can sell stuff, right? We can do online dues payment, which is called out right below this. We have rolled out the online dues payment as well as donations. It also gives us the flexibility to easily deploy park level pages, as most of you saw that were rolled out this last 6 months. One good item is we've also finalized the litigation that was ongoing. That case is now closed and settled. I'd like to throw out a special thanks to Midnight for helping spin back up the Kingdom newsletter and doing a wonderful job on that. I think that all the contributions the Kingdom has made has just been amazing. I really enjoy reading that and kind of getting insight into people's heads, so thank you for that. And some of the more technology stuff, we built out park and night email addresses. So we've got like www.amtgardck.org will go to all the dues paid Wickerwood members. The Monarchy can use this to email all the parks, anything Kingdom related that we don't necessarily want to spam on Facebook, where we've got a lot of non-Celestial Kingdom members. We also use this to send out the newsletter, since one of the benefits of being dues paid is the Kingdom newsletter. So. We have a Knights email address as well for anybody that's a current Knight of the Celestial Kingdom, dues paid or not. They should be a member of that. And these email addresses are all automatically refreshed. The park levels are refreshed every night, and the Kingdom one currently refreshes every month, since we don't Knight people that often. So, all right. Next on the list, I want to transition into the Treasurer Quarterly Report. So Mike, if you want to kind of run through the high levels and the low levels.
All right. So as of the end of last quarter, we had an actual balance of $7,097.03. The Chase bank account was again closed, so I just added that in there for consistency. Pioneer Bank, the balance was $7,087.03, and the balance at the end of the quarter was $7,314.75. There were no events during quarter 3 due to COVID-19 restrictions, so no event costs or anything there. Not event expenditures. We had in September, we reimbursed Alyssa Wade for a Lord's Crown that she commissioned from Nightlinks. She used her region funds for that, so we reimbursed her. And then we had debits for the Google Suites. I'm not sure why there's 2 separate ones.
I can speak to that. Google Suites is our amtgardck.org email address system. So all your Prime Minister at AmtgardCK, etc. They charge us per username on that. Google Cloud is actually our website hosting. where we're spinning up a small server in Google Cloud and hosting the entire backend for all of our web pages.
Okay.
And that changes based upon how much it's used and how much data goes every month. So it should be between 10 and 15 usually.
Okay. Well, as you can see, for the month of July, August, and September, the Google Suites was $44.27. The cloud was $6.53 in July, $8.31 in August, and $13.76 in September. And that was the only real debits or anything out of the account. There was no checks written for anything. Then we had deposits via the two payment platforms that we use, PayPal and Stripe. $214 went through Stripe, and $214.56 went through Stripe. $2.05. I cannot talk today. I apologize. $205.88 went through PayPal. Obviously, they took their taxes and such. As for non-event profits, we had $270 of that was dues, and $194 was donations from the was donations through the website, and then 91 cents was interest for over the 3 months. I think it was 30 cents for July, 31 cents for August, and 30 cents for September. As far as cash or cash equivalent on hand, we have no checks written on hand. $10 of cash in the treasury, the treasurer bag. Not sure why, but it's there. So as of,
It's there so you can buy stamps.
okay. Well, that makes sense. As of the ending date, we have $0 outstanding payments. So we have a ledger balance in the bank account of $7,314.75, and an actual balance with the $10 cash on hand of $7,324.75.
Good job reading all those numbers.
That was terrible.
Claudia did ask if we could add on Google Suites and Google Cloud what it's actually for as far as email addresses and website hosting. So that'd be the only change that's really being asked. And I think it's reasonable to kind of define what that is, especially when we start looking like AI's financials, and they basically lump everything together as technology, and it doesn't help at all. So any questions on Treasury?
Is there a way that I could do that?
Just editing the document that you sent me a link to.
I mean, like, how do I break down the line items for the Google Suite stuff? Because I don't know where to look that up.
It just next to Google Suites, type email addresses. Google Cloud, website hosting. I'll deal with you later, Mike.
Is it Stripe or is it supposed to be Square?
Stripe.
It's Stripe. We use Stripe for credit card processing on the website. Square is used for in-person event processing of credit cards. And then we have PayPal, obviously.
And I'm not sure where we're supposed to put this, but just a reminder to the board that next month, I'm not sure the exact date, we will need to pay the $600 of the rental unit for where we have all our stuff storage unit where we have all our stuff stored.
That should actually be a pretty easy thing to do, because the way I have it set up, they are a payee from our Pioneer account. So all we have to do is go in there, enter, and the amount may already be saved in there. You need to double check that, but
yeah, it should be the amount you sent last time. So
right,
you should be able to repeat send it.
Yeah, the new
we
treasurer
go in there,
and
click on them, and send it.
So yeah, let us know when that's due, Amy, and we'll move forward on that.
Okay.
All right, Treasury
That'll be some other poor sucker's job.
Mike is leaving us, sadly. He doesn't love us anymore. Let's talk about some of the COM issues that are ongoing. Cyril, if you want to talk about the AI donation penalty status and trademark litigation.
Okay, the first one, the AI penalty, there was a motion made by, I think it was Dragonstein, I don't remember, that they wanted to create some sort of penalties for kingdoms not paying the required amount to AI BOD. I was actually really pleased with how this meeting turned out. CADS, and I don't know what kingdom he's from, made a motion that we will not move on that item until the actual trademark dispute is closed. So we're not giving them any more money, and it passed. So basically, the kingdom said, we're not gonna let you instill any kind of penalty on us until we actually have this issue closed, which I think was a very beautiful way of handling it.
Agreed.
Go Cats.
Right, and then they are still predicting that the trademark dispute will be finished in December. That's next month. So as soon as we have any news, or actually as soon as Crix has news, I'm sure he'll be reporting that to Jason and Styles. And that will be, you know, as soon as they have news, we should have news, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't know if we need to talk about that other motion with the kingdom where they were arguing over the park, but because it doesn't involve us in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
But
that
okay. All right. Then that's what's happening in the com.
Hooray, com. Next up, we want to talk about the Spring War proposal. We got one whole Spring War proposal, and it was from Amy. So, Amy, I've got your Spring War proposal up if you kind of just want to walk people through it or give your vision for Spring War. Since this is the only proposal, we will be by default accepting this under the assumption that we have a Spring War, which every day gets a little more bleak, right?
Well, that was going to be my first comment, and I'm going to be very blunt and honest. If the BOD does not put any kind of restrictions, I mean, depending on, of course, what happens, but if Spring War is going to be billed as a free-for-all with no masks, no social distancing, and no hand sanitizer, I will not be attending. I cannot afford to and lose all my sick leave, or, I mean, I can't do that. So, I've, you know, as Monarch, I tried to open the parks. I hoped people would be responsible. From what I've seen, they're not. So, if we can have Spring War, I would highly recommend that we do so as safely as possible and have restrictions with masks, or requirements, maybe is a better word, with masks and social distancing and hand sanitizer everywhere. That being said, you know, the site is Spirit Haven Ranch. I have to change the financials some because we've lost some revenue, things that procured revenue for us, generated revenue for us, which was the cabin rentals, which that was a huge source of revenue. But we are trying to make that up in two ways. The first way would be the fact that Lone Star charged us per person per day for that event, whereas Spirit Haven only charging us per person per event. So if it's $10 a person per event and we charge them $40 for the entrance fee, we are actually making more per gate fees. And then we had talked about, and it's in the, I can't really see it very well, and I don't remember where I saved it on my computer. The revenue is selling the fireworks, selling the ice, doing the concession stand. And I was extremely conservative when I tried to do the revenue projections for those kinds of things, because we just don't know. And I know for a fact that when I did high school, you know, concession stands at the high school, we would make $4,000 or $5,000 a night. Right. So I think that if we properly run a concession stand with snacks and drinks and, you know, obviously not water, because we're going to give that away for free for hydration, but, you know, Powerades, snacks, chips, sunflower seeds, that we could easily generate money that way. We had not decided on whether or not we wanted to rent carts. That is another revenue generating idea. There are more electrical outlets at Spear Haven than were at Lone Star. I don't think that we need carts the way the site is, but it does generate revenue, and if people want to rent a cart, we can do that. But I would need the board to decide whether or not we want to do that, because it's not, we have to pay that up front. We usually use the seed money from the cabin rentals and cart rentals as to pay all of our deposits beforehand. Without the cabin rentals, we're only going to have cart rental deposits. So we need to look at the financials on that. How much seed money do we have? Knowing we have 7,000 is pretty comforting. I don't know what else to say. Does anyone have any questions?
What's the theme?
The Greek, the Trojan Wars, that's up there at the top, the Trojan Wars, which I want to call it the Trojan Wars, but I don't want to keep it just to the Trojan Wars. I want to have it anything Greek, because I think it'd be super fun. And Dahlin is our Warcrat. If we could have like a labyrinth with the, and have a Minotaur in it, or have a Medusa, and have, really fun monsters. And then I would love to see all the Krats and CK officers as the Greek gods. So like maybe we can even bestow relics on people. I would be Athena, because, I get to pick. But we can bestow relics on people because, the Greek gods were giving, at least according to Clash of the Titans, they gave gifts out.
I call it Paul.
And so I think I don't know if we'd have to be careful with this one, but I would love to have someone as Dionysus walk around handing out alcohol to everybody.
Oh no, I'll take that one.
I was like, how fun could that be, right? There's so many gods and goddesses to pick from. We could have a lot of fun with it. But again, I call it the Trojan Wars, just saying the Greeks is kind of boring, but I do want to open it up to have anything that is in the Greek mythology, because we can even have like a battle with, Charybdis and, what was it? Scylla and Charybdis. Yeah. So like on one side of the battlefield, we have this whirlpool that people have to stay away from, or they get sucked in. And on the other side, they have a Hydra they have to stay away from, or they get eaten, and they got to figure out how to fight the battle without being eaten by either. We could have a lot of fun. We could call it the Odyssey. Yeah. But that's the theme. So I'm sorry, I left out the most fun part. So does anyone have any questions now?
Yes, I do. What were our numbers that we pulled in for Spring War last year, for this year?
Financials or quantity?
For people through the gate.
473 people.
Yeah.
473. Okay, cool.
And this one, I'm projecting a much smaller number. I think I left it at like 300. I can't find it on my computer.
Yeah, you got 300.
Yeah, you have it at 300, 200 people at the gate.
Right, because with COVID, we just don't know, and I'd rather do things conservatively and have a surprise with the number of attendants. It could go either way. We could have people so excited to be getting out and like, oh, please God, let us Amtgard again, that we have huge numbers, or we could have hardly any numbers because people are still scared. It's just, everything's so up in the air right now, and the magic 8-ball isn't being really, it's like, are we gonna get to have it? I don't know, magic 8-ball, you tell me, so.
Go ahead.
I'm 100% behind Surreal of doing the hand sanitizer and the masks and things like that. That would probably limit our numbers, but we've imposed that at Slaughter Creek, and it's definitely limited our numbers. But if we do something of this scale, where we're going to have members in from all over the nation, we need to make sure that we're taking proper precautions.
So, Amy, what's the drop dead date that you need to know, a go or a no go? Because I know we've got a meeting with Spirit Haven next week to talk to them, but obviously putting on a big production like Spring War takes time, and with COVID in the air, everything. If you said I needed to know today, I would say we're not having Spring War.
The only thing that is really okay, because like the food purchasing, Gavin needs to know probably about a month out, because they purchase the food as best they can from various markets to get the best prices. Dolan would need to know because of the game, what do we need to purchase for games and what do we need to do? We needed to go out there and clear out more of the battlefield. That was some work that needs to be put in. The two things that we would have to order, the dumpster, the porta potties, and the light would have to be put in an order. But again, not many people are having events right now, so I don't know that they would be difficult to get. And then the carts. If we want carts, we need to go ahead and send out the email to or contact our vendor for carts to try to make sure that they're on board. But again, if South by Southwest isn't happening and all of these other events are not happening, then that opens up carts from a lot more vendors. I would say January. Honestly, I would say January.
Okay.
I mean, it was a hustle to get everything done by then, but I think, as long as the hardest things to plan are feast and battle games. So depending on Dolan, he's the man, if what he needs for battle games and how much budget, and then feast, giving Gavin a window to plan and then look at market prices to try to really get that out there and see what you can get. Because, the more time they have to I'm repeating myself. But yeah, I would say January would be drop dead.
Okay, so let's talk to Spirit Haven next week on our call and find out what their go no go date is as well, and we'll stay on top of this. Whenever we hit that go no gate, we're gonna have to make a call, so we'll stay in touch on that.
One thing I recommend for the porta potties is to also get them to get us those hand washing stations again, because they really were a big help. We just got to make sure people aren't filling their water bottles with them.
That we need to maintain, because I know they ran out of water very quickly. We need to make sure that they're getting serviced, because we're going to also have to be, it's on the bid, we have to rent showers as well.
Yeah.
They were running out of water on the things because I'm pretty sure people were using them to fill their water bottles up.
Yeah, we need to put signs and stuff up on those things that say, this is not potable water, do not use this for drinking.
Right.
Yeah.
We need to get on people about not using them for their water bottles and just using them specifically for washing their hands.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Because it says there, right at the sink part, non-potable water. So.
Well, that, and with Spirit Haven, they have the concession stand right by the field. And people are going to have a real easy time seeing where they are supposed to fill up their water bottles. So I would assume that they would figure it out. But then again, you never know with Amtgarders. So, but yeah, we would definitely make sure that we don't want people filling up water bottles. So that, and the best way to do that is to give them a really good option for filling up their water bottles and a good solid hydrocrat, yes. And then, making sure that, if anyone sees somebody trying to do that, we're like, hey, this isn't even drinking water. You don't want it, which is not true, but we want to make sure we can lie,
So with the concession stand, who is going to be running it?
Well, that would be someone else I'd need to find as a concession stand crat, which would be a new position. And what I was thinking of along the lines, just so you are sharing brainwaves with me, is nachos, because the cheese in the crock pot is pretty easy to do. I don't think I'd do anything like hot dogs, because first of all, usually spring ball is hot, and I don't think it's a smart idea to have meat out in the heat for hours on end. But and then just chips, and then like proteiny snacks. I don't know, like sunflower seeds, jerky steak.
Nachos.
Huh?
If we're going to be vending food like that, where people are paying for foods individually, people need to have their food handler's license.
Yeah, right, absolutely.
I already have mine.
Well, yeah, I do too, but.
It's expired, but I've got it. It does not have a refrigerator, no. But we could do pickles, which those are always really popular, and fresh fruits, and then like beef sticks and things that are non-perishable but still, or at least lightly perishable, fresh fruits and apples and oranges. It does have power, and
Amy, I have a question.
yeah.
For us selling concessions or anything like that, are we required to have any permits or anything? Because I'm not sure where exactly this location is at. So based off the municipality rules, are we supposed to have a permit for selling foods? Or
It
It's
is
private
not
property.
within any city limits. It is out in the country, but that's a good question that we
Okay.
could.
Yeah, I just never know what the county rules are or municipality or anything like that. So I don't know exactly where it's at. That's something you may want to look
It's
into.
private
Just-
property. We technically don't even have to have the food handler's license.
There may be county.
There we go. Dolan answered it. He's right. It's
Okay.
private property.
Okay, that works. I was just wondering. I was just curious.
I think you have your hydration crat in your chat now.
Only if she wants to. I'm not gonna demand that Claudia do it. She's done it many times, and that's up to her.
I nominate Claudia for Hydrocrat.
Only if we can nominate you for running the concession stand.
Hey, I'd be down. I don't
But
care.
and then I wasn't picturing it being open all day, every day. That's also something I was thinking, you know, most people don't even start moving before 11, right? So I would probably, and then, you know, we serve lunch or brunch around then, but I would have it open from probably about noon to 6, and then close down for dinner, but then have it open later at night for snacks when people are drunk.
Nice coffee station.
Yeah, coffee
If you're
too.
wanting to do concessions, I'll do hydro. We'll put our brains together on this one and run it concurrently so that we're not stepping on each other's toes and we're using those resources in an appropriate fashion.
Since it's so close to the field, that would make a lot of sense, and you both
Yeah,
are
it's
going to
right
use a lot of
next
water.
to the field. And that's exactly where their Wi-Fi is, so we would be able to use the square to take credit cards, because I know that a lot of people don't carry cash. But then if we advertise, we will have a concession stand, you know, bring cash, bring your credit cards, you know, it's gonna be right there at the edge of the field.
Iris, are you down for going in with me on it?
I'm down.
Awesome.
I like the
There you
idea
go.
of using
You
the
have
square
your-
like that too.
There you go. You have your hydro and your concession crat.
Okay, outstanding.
I said I like the idea of using the square like that too.
Yeah, well, I mean, I never carry cash. I get frustrated when my school's like, oh, you need to turn in $8 for a shirt or something. And I'm like, okay, that means I have to go to the ATM machine, get out a 20, go to the convenience store, break the 20, and then bring in the $8. And I'm like, why can't you just take a credit card? Yeah.
Of course, I also preface that with what Cyril had said earlier, that, you know, we're not doing good enough precautions and things, and if there's safety concern, I'm not going. School teacher as well, so.
Yeah, again, we're going to see how it goes. I'm feeling less and less optimistic about spring war happening
Well,
just because the
And
major
I just want
spike.
people to understand that my district, we have 10 days of sick leave per year. So if I have to quarantine for COVID, they're not giving me free leave. That's part of my sick days, and that's the 10 days. And once you're out of sick days as a teacher, you actually have to start paying for the subs out of your own pocket. So,
They're 150 a day.
so it's not that Claudia and I don't want to help. It's literally, this could be a huge financial issue, depending on, you know, if we get sick or if it takes months for us to get well or whatever. I mean, this is potentially a huge issue for us. And so, I mean, that's why we can't take this lightly.
No
Yeah,
doubt.
and
The
then
world,
my whole family is high risk, so if there's even a chance, I've got to do what I can to protect them.
yeah, I think about 10% of at least the CK is high risk as well. The world today is a lot different than it was last March. The COVID is much more serious and impactful than it was. We got away with running the spring war last year. If it was
We
run
squeaked
today,
it. It was amazing. It was the best event of 2020.
yeah,
The
only.
only event of 2020.
I know.
So we'll keep monitoring the situation, see where we are up until the go no go date, and then we'll make a decision. But so far, if we do have spring war, this is the proposal we're going with. So congrats, Cyril.
Oh, thank you. I don't know if it's congrats or commiseration.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, insurance follow-up. So we have talked to about 20 different insurance companies, and the good news is we did actually get a quote for insurance. The bad news is that while last year's insurance was approximately $800, going forward, any insurance for at least the next 3 to 5 years is approximately $10,000. So we are not going to have insurance. I talked to the AIBOD, and a lot of kingdoms do not go forward with liability or DNO, which is Directors and Officers Insurance. They simply do insurance per event. So for at least the next year, probably 3 to 5 years, until this kind of wipes off of our insurance history, we're going to have to insure per event, which means we do not have liability insurance. The clauses in your waivers do apply if you get hurt at a park event or anything like that. It is on you, not the Celestial Kingdom. Short and sweet.
How much would insurance cost for like a spring war?
Depends on how many people go. We still have to work that out. We do have Spirit Haven's insurance contacts, so they basically told us whenever we're ready to reach out to them and get quotes for insurance for our event, so it's not a problem. We just got to call and say, hey, all we need is liability insurance. How much is it? Heather, I don't think that we are asking the Monarchy and BOD members to be liable for themselves for any lawsuit. That's not standard, right? We are saying we cannot afford insurance. It's not going to happen anymore. You saw how much we have in the bank. We couldn't even afford to pay it if we wanted to. If you do something stupid online and open yourselves up to a libel or case or something like that, our insurance is not going to step in again. You're on your own. JK absolutely agreed. It should be in the spring war bid. We just don't know how much that is yet, so it wasn't put in there, but we do have the contacts and we're talking with them next week, so we'll hopefully get more info. I don't disagree. People should be aware. That's why we're having the BOD meeting, letting people know that we don't have insurance anymore. It's officially expired as of the end of October.
Oh boy.
Yeah. All right. Embroidery RFP discussion. We had mentioned on the last call that we were putting out an RFP so that we could find people in the kingdom that could do embroidery and make patches so that we could get a price to see how much those patches are. Since I was going to submit a proposal on this, I recused myself and made sure that this was all handled by the secretary. Ryan, our previous secretary, actually resigned from the board of directors due to personal reasons, so Lyriel had stepped up to be the secretary. So I'm going to turn it over to her and let her speak to the responses if we got any.
Okay, so I only received one bid. I got a couple of interests, but I only received one actual bid. And I did post, as soon as I took over as BOD secretary, I did post another follow-up post just to let people know that we were doing this process. Let me open my email real quick. All right,
I've got the bid if you want me to open it up.
Yeah.
I removed the pricing info, but there's the actual bid.
All right, so like I said, Torque was or Jason Charette was the only bid. And you can see here on the screen, he has no minimum orders. All of his equipment is in-house, and he is a local artisan. So, and because he's the one who set up the e-commerce, we can do that all through our e-commerce. He's also provided a couple of examples, and this is where I'm going to need my handheld because I don't know how much more to discuss about it.
No, this is fine. So I really wanted to show kind of the patches that I'm thinking of doing that would be great for the kingdom. This is just park level patches, which obviously is something a lot of people have reached out wanting, but we can expand this to include, I'll work directly with the Regent and the rest of the Monarchy team to create class level patches, Circle of Steel patches, stuff like that. So if there's any kind of awards that the kingdom would like to give out, we have an easy way to get that patch made, fund the artisan for creating the patch, and then either give it away at court, or people that have earned those awards can go onto the website and buy them. Any questions?
You have my full support.
Awesome, good, because I'm going to be working pretty closely with you to
no
figure out what
minimum, right?
patches we want. I'm sorry, say that again?
There is no minimum order threshold.
There isn't, so I'll do these one at a time as ordered. The problem with embroidery patches, most of the time you go, even if you go to China, they want you to buy 100 of them up front, and it's a big investment to not know how many you're going to sell and when you're going to sell them and to hold those in inventory. So my plan is I will basically, as orders come in, I can walk over to my crafting room and print them, throw them in a USPS box and ship them out. So I don't need a minimum order threshold. If this takes off and we start doing quite a bit of patches and stuff like that, we can reevaluate in a year or so and say, okay, we know we're selling a crap ton of park patches. Let's go ahead and go to China and buy 100 of them, and we provide the digitation fee. The other side of this is I also do my own digitizing, so we don't have to pay for that fee either. And JK, I think you are right on with reef sashes and patches for spring war and stuff like that.
I agree
Monarchy
too.
patches. If you're reef certified for range 60, hell, have a range 60 reef patch. You know what I mean? We're only limited by our imagination here. I put some generic sizes of patches, like the park patches are roughly 7 inches. But I've also got, you know what? It's here. In the RFP itself, we called out the size patches. I'm just trying to find it again. So award title patches, we've got a 1 inch by 4 inch patch. The round patches are approximately 3 inches in diameter. I'll do any kind of patch that we kind of create for 3 inches of diameter at that class level patch. So, and then 7 inches by 5.6 inches for the park patches so that they're all kind of standardized. But again, we're only limited by our imagination. If Trader's Gate says, hey, I want a Trader's Gate specific patch that's 1 by 4 inch that says whatever the hell I want, fine, we'll sell it to Trader's Gate. We'll sell it as the Kingdom to anybody in Trader's Gate, right? This just gives us an easy way to get them made and funded, basically.
I am so in love with this idea.
Well, the good thing is Amy just mentioned belt favors. We can also take these same size patches that we're doing for the parks and create, you know, Druid belt favor size patches that people can buy and go sew onto a belt favor and get created. So I'll be hopefully working on this and rolling it out and putting official. I'll start with park patches where people can buy the park patches online. It'll be cost plus a little bit so that the Kingdom's actually making money on this. But the whole idea is AI is coming to us for money eventually, right? To fund the big litigation. We need to come up with new and creative ways to raise funds as a Kingdom. So here we go.
This is a brilliant idea.
Well, thank you.
Setting aside a little bit for each patch, you know, paying you back for your time and your materials, of course, and then charging a surcharge on top of that so that it can go into the Kingdom coffers so that we can pay back AI. That's a wonderful idea.
Absolutely agreed. All right, so that is the embroidery stuff. Let's go to outgoing and incoming members. So here was our range 60 BOD members. We started May 10th. On September 28th, Ryan Lulo Cathal had to resign as his spot on secretary for personal reasons. Just a timing issue. It wasn't, you know, anything bitter. And we loved having Ryan, and we look forward to him joining the BOD in the future. There we go. We look forward to him coming back to joining us in the BOD or some kind of leadership role in the future. With his resignation, obviously there were 2 folks that ran for 2 open positions that were coming up. One of the people was Lirio or Miranda Gibbs. We went ahead, or at least the Monarch went ahead and moved Lirio into the secretary position officially. And then we went ahead and brought Megan Evans, who also ran for BOD, and transitioned her into the alternate position. So we got to welcome our new BOD members early, basically, which is great. There were 2 spots on the BOD that were coming to term ends. One of those was Cathal's. The other is Mike Green. So I'm sad to report that our beloved current treasurer, Mike Green, Garrick, is leaving us. Is anybody else sad? I'm sad.
So sad. All the sad.
I'm sure
I'm sad.
Mike's not. Mike wants to go. He's tired of looking at numbers. So, here we are on Range 60. I wanted to go over the 4 roles, if you will, and just kind of my thoughts on what they are. There are 4 open roles that transition every 6 months and come up for pick what you want to do, pick your poison, right? The president, I call it keeper of the order. I'm current president. You organize these meetings, you run the meetings. You can see, try to keep everything in some kind of logical format so you can keep it straight. That's the public facing side. On the back side, I inherited a lot of this, but it's managing of the technical stuff, right? Amtgard, ck.org, email addresses, and now the website. There's a lot of technical administration to that. It's nothing that can't be learned fairly easy, so I'm willing to train and educate anybody that wants to take on the president role. I had to learn it
Business
from
president
Fog.
for life.
No, I had to learn it from Fog, so it's totally not going to be a for life thing. But don't let that scare you away from volunteering to be as president. It's not as hard as you think, and there's people here on the back that will support you. So that's the president role. Secretary.
I nominate Court.
Hold your horses. Secretary, keeper of the log. So all minutes, meeting minutes, notes, anything contractual like that RFP that we just did, paying of our taxes if we were to dissolve and reform as a new LLC so that we could try to get insurance again or something like that. All of that falls officially under the secretary because they handle all formal and informal documentation. Treasurer, keeper of the coin. This was my first task on the BOD when I started, I guess it was like 8 or 9 months ago. If you like money and finances and dealing with ledgers, treasurer is great. You own and maintain all the bank accounts and the PayPal transactions and accounts. You are responsible for any payments that go out as well as keeping track of any payments and incomes that come in. If there's a discrepancy on the books, you're responsible. Hopefully.
I want to add to that.
Yeah.
Torque has done a fantastic job of centralizing just about everything regarding that. And it makes it so easy, even I could do it. So
Thanks, Mike. Yeah, if you standardize and create like a process that people can inherit, which is what I want to do as the president, like let people inherit that role, with clear defined instructions on what to do and what not to do, it makes transitions so much easier. Membership. This is one of those roles that wasn't very well defined, and our Kapora really only calls out keeping of the asset list and inventory. We're kind of growing this and taking some of the responsibility off of what I think Kapora requires the KPM to do. We're transitioning this to be a newsletter developer. I see the membership officer probably changing in the next 6 to 12 months even more, but I see it primarily as that bridge between BOD Life and Populous Life. Taking information from the Monarchy team, the BOD team, as well as the Populous, putting it all together, making it pretty, and being that bridge back to the Populous. So I gotta give it to Midnight. His work he's done on the Stargazer, which is the resurgence of the original CK Star, it's awesome. I love it.
Fully agree.
It brings back memories of a better day back 20 years ago when I first moved to CK and saw their newsletter and was like, wow, this is they got their stuff together. The downside to the newsletter back then was if you were new to the CK or didn't know anybody, you didn't get the newsletter. You basically had people coming to the parks, passing them out on paper. Who knew if you were dues paid or not, which this is a dues paid thing. Now we have the email address, so we can easily get this to every person that's in the org that has a valid dues paid membership. So we're kind of starting to use technology to make ourselves better, which is what technology is ultimately there for. So thanks again, Midnight. You're doing a wonderful job. I hope if you don't want to keep the membership rule, I hope whoever inherits it from you has as much gumption and motivation to be awesome as you do, because, man, you've done a great job. So, that said, there are several positions on the board of directors. Outside of just those 4, they're all automatic, right? We have our new Monarch, Brandon Rogers, who's also on the call. Thanks for joining, Brandon. Happy to have you as Monarch. I hope you have a wonderful reign. New Regent, Eris. I'm very excited you finally got your Regent position. I know you've gone for it a few times.
This is actually only my second time for going for it, but yeah.
Well, congratulations. I'm excited to see what you bring to the role.
And it's Iris. I hate that
sorry.
Iris dude.
My bad. Claudia, yes, you are right. Midnight is posting the old one. He just hasn't done it yet, but we will get the old one there. Prime Minister Sai, you've done this job many times and you do it well. So I appreciate everything you do, but welcome back. Alternate KPM, Dahlin thought he was getting rid of us by pretty much walking away from everything, but nope, we still get him. Alternate KPM until he decides to leave us there too. So thanks for sticking around, Dahlin. And then Surreal, same issue. We've got you as alternate monarch, so your counsel is always welcome on the BOD. That said, we've got to fill these 4 roles, so I will open it up. Any of the 4 folks on the team wants to volunteer for a position or volunteer others, by all means, this is your chance. If you have a position
Nominate
you're
Torque for
interested.
president.
Any seconds or any other nominations for president?
Second.
Seconded.
Nominate Larry for secretary.
Seconded.
Are alts allowed to vote and stuff?
On these 4, it's just the 4.
So who seconded for Torque?
That's a good question. I heard pretty much everybody. So does anybody want to take claim? Who's seconding?
I do believe I heard Iris as the first one.
And it passes unanimously.
Any against? Other than me?
Are you actually against? Because I need to write that down if you are.
I'm joking. It's a joke. That's fine. I'll happily step in and keep doing president role. Thank y'all for the support.
All right, secretary.
Nominate Liriel for secretary.
Second.
Any opposed?
I am not opposed at all. Absolutely
Who
for it.
seconded it?
I
Side.
did. Or, no, Sai did.
All right, treasurer.
Cricket loses.
Not me. I am terrible with money.
It
Well,
is
it can't be
seriously
you.
not that.
It's between
It's between
Megan
midnight
and
and Lady
midnight.
Ziana.
Either
I
Megan
know.
or-
I'm just making that point
I'm
very
more than happy
apparent.
to be treasurer.
Excellent. I nominate Ziana for treasurer.
I second.
And Megan, we really are changing spots.
I told you we were just gonna switch.
Any opposed? And I'm very happy to report that Midnight's being nominated again for membership officer, so we will keep the Stargazer going.
Yay.
any, do we have to nominate that or is it
Yeah.
just?
We should go ahead. I'll nominate it, and we need a second.
I'll second
I
it.
second.
Any opposed? I believe that is the extent of the meeting. I will open it up to any and all things discussion, wide open. Feel free to unmute your mic. Let's talk whatever you want.
I have to go to work, so if you could tell me who closes it and all that good stuff.
Yep, will do.
All right, talk to y'all later.
Jason,
I'm sorry?
did you get my message about adding the waiver and a generic sign-in sheet to the documents on the webpage?
I did not. Where did you send that to?
Probably Messenger.
Was it in the last hour?
No, it's been a while.
No, I haven't seen that. Can you message that again? I must have missed it.
Okay.
And I just want to remind, a gentle reminder that we need to switch the Monarch account over to Styles.
Yep, now that we've got all the BOD positions today and tomorrow, we were working with everybody to get their official email and phone number so I can do all the email transitions, etc. Yes, Heather, there was this thing about senator issues. We've renamed it COM issues because Crix wasn't able to join us and we wanted Surreal to cover those. So those were the two senator issues that were going on.
So there are something that happened yesterday at the All Thing meeting
Yeah?
was
I missed it.
the Populous was bringing up that they want the moderators for all of the also all the social media platforms to be controlled. It should essentially just be controlled by the BOD. So have somebody that sits on all of the pages who's automatically a moderator from BOD, and then holds like a fair process to select new moderators.
Yeah, basically, all the social media, whatever, would fall under the BOD is what we were discussing, because the Emerald Hills actually just did that, I think, like 6 months ago, where whenever all the forest drama was going on, because he actually owned their Facebook page. So they had no recourse as to what to do with their Facebook page. So what they ended up doing was they made the board of directors pass the motion to have all social media controlled by the BOD. And basically they poured out the moderators and figured out who's going to moderate what and all that.
I mean,
Yeah, they're writing up a proposal for that to submit to the next all thing.
Yeah, it wasn't voted on, it was discussed, and I believe there's a lot of merit to it.
I absolutely agree that there's a lot of merit to it. I also hate social media and would like to see a lot of it closed down and shut down, but that's just me. I think there's also questions around the Knights pages too, but that's less public, so that's more of a private issue.
Well, the Knights page would fall under anything that's an official CK page, whether it's a Knights page or the BOD page or just the general Facebook page would fall under the BOD, because the CK needs to have control of its pages.
Discord as well would fall under that.
Yes, absolutely.
It seems like most of these just require an email address in order to set up.
Yeah.
So wouldn't it be better to just kind of go transfer all of the ownership over to the Monarchy Gmail account?
Probably the admin at amtgardck.org. It'd be just like we did with the Google Suite stuff. So, yeah, I mean, if it passes the all thing, the BOD will obviously step up and do whatever the populace wants us to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's ultimately an all thing issue, and it will be decided by the populace. And YouTube, yes, Heather as well. Yes, the YouTube channel.
Yes. Basically, any social media in any form, existing or going forward.
The good thing is we do own the YouTube now. We have a CK YouTube officially started up and spun. And speaking of which, if you have videos that you want to throw up on the CK YouTube, by all means reach out to anybody on the BOD or Claudia. And Claudia's been doing a wonderful job of streaming a lot of our events and stuff. The more we can get traction on YouTube, we can eventually maybe even get it a financial income stream for us. So. But yes, YouTube is owned by the BOD now.
Do we have a link to YouTube set up on our Facebook group or anything like that, so it's easier to go directly to it?
That is a damn fine question, and I don't think that we do.
That would actually get a lot more foot traffic going to those videos, thus.
I'm pretty sure Claudia posted it at least once.
She's posting the links directly to some of the streams, but I don't know that she's posted our actual main YouTube. Maybe she has, I just missed it. But it should be in the info.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was just wondering if there was a permalink set up there.
Yeah, we'll have to put it in like the Facebook info for the group and make sure to put it there. That's a good point.
Probably better to be able to on the webpage too.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
If you want to get an income stream from the YouTube channel, you would need to have like a social media person.
Yep.
And I've actually trained in that. I can help anyone who wants to do that. I can help like project it onto multiple different platforms and things like that once we start to get a little bit bigger.
Yeah, once we hit 100 subs, we'll get a URL, and then we'll start really pressing towards that 1,000 subs so we can actually get monetization.
Excellent.
I fully support you or anybody else doing it because I don't want to do it.
That was actually part of my college degree was social media marketing. So yeah, it takes a lot of work, but yeah, it's definitely doable.
Yeah, I mean, there's people that make a lot of money, so any additional income streams that we can get so that we can fund advertising, which will, again, increase our income stream. So it's a growth plan for us, right? Yes, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube, let me grab the link real quick and I will post it in the chat. It's a stupid link, like Claudia said, but it's our link and we love it.
And then I had another question about the adding a seat for the senator. Is that just something that the BOD just needs to vote on to add a new seat, or is that something that has to go through all things?
I'm pretty sure that has to go through all things because it's going to be a Kapora change. So we're going to need a write-up or somebody writing it up and requesting a Kapora change. There is our official YouTube. We have 20 whole subscribers. I will be posting this BOD meeting as well to it. We posted our last one. I think it's great for the folks that can't join the BOD meetings. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, Joe. The folks that can't watch our BOD meetings, this kind of gives them more than just the meeting notes. So I like the idea of trying to make all of our BOD meetings and a lot of our events and stuff, at least videos, put on YouTube. So anything else, open table?
General post to the CK page might generate more subscribers. Like, you know, just subscribe to our YouTube page and never miss anything that we post up there, from fighting tournaments to event battle games to BOD meetings, all things, courts, that kind of stuff.
Yep, it's a fair point. So I will work on getting a post if nobody beats me to it. All right, then I am going to move to close this official board of directors meeting September 15th. Seconded. Any opposed? Who was the second? I didn't hear you.
Sorry.
Excellent. Thanks, Si. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye, Torg. Rocking the beard, by the way.
Thanks, man.